In the year 2462, humans had reached many stars. Ships flew between planets like birds in the sky. Cities floated above clouds. People lived on moons and even inside hollow asteroids. But still, they waited for something more. They waited for the day when real aliens would speak to them. That day came without warning. A signal appeared from the Andara system. It was not human. It was not a natural sound. It was music, slow, deep notes like ocean waves, followed by a whisper in a strange voice. The message said only this: we come from far beyond. We seek your true face. The signal was strong. It came from a silver ship floating near a dead planet. The ship did not move. It did not answer questions. It waited. The Earth Council sent a peaceful scout ship named Aurora. On board were many people, but two were very important: Ravi, a young pilot known for his calm heart, and Mira, a skilled diplomat who always believed in peace. As Aurora moved closer to the strange alien ship, everyone felt nervous. No one had ever seen real aliens before. Ravi stared at the alien ship from the window. It was shaped like a giant shell, shining like glass and metal. It had no windows, no lights, no doors. It doesn't look like a warship, Ravi said. Mira nodded. It looks like a temple. The captain of Aurora gave the command. A message was sent. We are humans. We come in peace. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then, the alien ship opened. A soft blue light came from inside. A long bridge extended, floating in space, and from the light, a tall figure stepped out. The alien wore full armor, silver and smooth, with lines that glowed like stars. The helmet was shaped like a crown. The face was hidden. The figure spoke. I am Amia, Queen of the Velari. I come to see if your kind is ready. Her voice was calm, soft, and strong. It echoed in their ears like music. Ravi looked at Mira. Mira looked at the captain. Everyone felt the same thing. This was not war. This was something very, very different. Mira stepped forward and bowed. Welcome, Queen Amia. I am Mira. We are honored. Amia nodded. We have watched your kind from afar. Now we ask, who are you? Truly, not your ships, not your tools, your heart. No one understood what she meant, but they listened. Ravi walked forward beside Mira. He felt something strange, like the air was heavier around Amia. She didn't move like a soldier. She moved like wine, slow and thoughtful. Ravi asked, do you want to visit Earth? Amia turned her head. Perhaps, but first, show me your truth. Show me what lies behind your smile. The humans didn't know what to say. Mira tried to explain human history, their science, their hopes. She spoke of art, of kindness, of dreams. Amia listened, but did not react. Words are easy, she said. She looked at Ravi. You carry silence with you. Why? Ravi didn't know how to answer, but he said, because I don't want to say the wrong thing. Amia was quiet. Then she said, that is better than saying what is not real. For the next hour, the crew of Aurora tried to learn more about the Velari, but Amia did not give much. She only asked questions. She watched. She listened. When Mira asked her why she hid her face, Amia replied, because your kind is not ready to see it. To see me, you must see yourselves first. That night, back on Aurora, the crew met in the control room. She's not here to attack, Ravi said. She's here to learn. She wants to see if we're honest. Mira added, if we're real. The captain nodded. Then we show her. A plan was made. They would invite Queen Amia to Earth, not to show her power or science, but to show her nature, people, beauty, and life. They sent her a message. Come with us. See our home. You will not find perfection, but you will find truth. The reply came quickly. I will go, but I will wear my helmet until the truth speaks louder than fear. And so, the journey to Earth began. As the alien ship followed Aurora, Ravi stood by the window. He looked at the stars and thought about Amia's voice. There was something in her words that stayed with him. Not power. Not mystery, but peace. He didn't know why yet, but he wanted to find out. The alien ship followed Aurora through the stars. It moved without sound or light, but even without noise. The humans could feel its presence like a quiet observer, watching everything. Ravi sat near the window, looking at the stars passing by. He had guided many ships before, but this journey felt different. A strange feeling stayed with him, like he was walking into a new world, not just flying to Earth. Queen Amia did not come out of her ship. She stayed inside, but her voice came through a soft signal every day. Sometimes she asked simple questions. Why do you plant flowers? What does laughter mean? Do you cry only when you're sad? Other times, she asked deeper questions. Is peace more important than truth? Would you lie to save someone? Do you know who you are? The crew was surprised. Most alien contact stories had robots, weapons, and warnings. But this was something else. This was personal. Mira tried to explain Earth's cultures, music, and languages. She sent videos of children playing, farmers planting, and artists painting. Queen Amia replied once, nice colors. But still, I do not see your true face. When Aurora finally entered Earth's orbit, the alien ship stayed behind, floating in space like a silver moon. Ravi, Mira, and the crew returned to the surface. The world had changed. While they were gone, news channels were full of questions. What do they want? Why is she hiding her face? Is she dangerous? Mira spoke to the world calmly. She came not for war, but for truth. We invited her to see who we are. People were nervous, but curious, after all. It was the first alien visit in human history. The next day, Queen Amia sent her reply. I will walk among you, but only as a mirror. Her ship slowly moved closer to Earth. People from every country watched the skies. She landed quietly in a peaceful green valley, away from cities. Her ship opened, and she walked out tall, silent, glowing. The helmet still covered her face. She did not speak to cameras or leaders. Instead, she walked through forests, watched rivers, and listened to the wind. Ravi and Mira were her guides. They took her to gardens where old people grew herbs, to schools where children built small machines, to villages where families sat together. In the evening sun, Amia never took off her helmet, but sometimes she would pause and stay silent for many minutes. It felt like she was listening to the world itself. One day, Ravi showed her a mountain path where birds flew low and the air was fresh. He said, "This is my favorite place. I come here when I need to feel quiet inside." Amia stood still. She looked at the sky, the birds, the clouds. Then she said, "Your world breathes." Ravi smiled. "Yes, and we are learning to breathe with it." Later, in a quiet village, Mira asked her again, "Why do you test us like this?" Amia replied, "Because long ago, we trusted too fast, and we lost too much." She turned to them and continued, "The Villari are not many now. We live far away, hidden. We have power, yes, but we do not know peace. We came not to take but to understand." Ravi looked into her shining helmet. He couldn't see her face, but he felt something behind it, something deep. "You think peace is weak?" he asked gently. Amia answered, "No, I fear it is too fragile." That evening, a meeting was held with Earth leaders. Amia stood in silence as humans spoke about their history, their mistakes, their hopes. At the end, she finally said, "I have seen your art, your green fields, your songs, but none of these show your true face." Everyone was confused. "What do you want us to show you?" One leader asked. Amei replied, "Your challenge is not to impress me. Your challenge is to be honest with me and with yourselves. Until then, my helmet stays on." After she left, Ravi and Mira sat together under a tree. "She wants something real," Mira said. "But how do you show honesty?" Ravi asked. "It's not like a picture." Mira thought for a while. Then she said, "Maybe it's not about showing. Maybe it's about letting her feel it." Over the next few days, Ravi took her to simple places. He didn't try to explain Earth anymore. He just let her see it. They sat with an old couple who had been married for 50 years. The woman gave Amia a small wooden carving. "It's a dove," the woman said. "We give it to people we trust." Amia took it quietly and held it in her hand. In a fishing village, a boy offered her a fish he caught himself. Amia accepted it. then gave him a glowing stone from her world. No words were needed. One morning, Ravi took her to a small lake where his parents used to bring him as a child. They sat beside the water. He said softly, "When I was young, I was afraid of the deep part of this lake. My father held my hand until I learned to float. After that, I was never afraid again." Amiya looked at the water. Then she turned to him. "You are not afraid now?" Ravi shook his head. "No, because I learned that sometimes it's okay to trust." A long silence followed. Then she said, "Maybe I am still learning." Queen Amiya stayed longer than anyone expected. Her silver ship sat quietly in the valley like a resting bird. She wore her helmet each day, hiding her face, but her actions spoke louder than words. People all around the world wanted to meet her, but she chose to walk quietly, far from cameras, far from crowds. "I do not want to see what you prepare," she told Ravi one morning. "I want to see what you forget to hide." So Ravi and Mira took her to the quiet places. They took her to a small town where people still made bread by hand. Amiya stood inside a bakery and watched the baker roll dough. The smell of warm bread filled the air. The baker gave her a piece. She held it in her hand for a moment, then slowly ate it. "This is soft," she said, "and warm. This is comfort." Next, they visited a library that was over 100 years old. Children sat on soft carpets, listening to stories. One girl read a story out loud about a brave bird that crossed oceans. Amiya listened without moving. When the story ended, she said, "Stories carry more than facts. They carry feelings." Later, in a village school, a young boy asked her, "Are you lonely in space?" Amiya paused. Then she said quietly, "Yes." The boy gave her a drawing. It was a picture of Earth with a smiling sun above it. He wrote under it, "For you." Amiya took the paper with both hands. She did not speak, but her hands were gentle. That night, Ravi and Mira sat beside her ship. The stars were bright above the valley. "She's seeing us now," Mira said. "Not just the big things," Ravi added, "but the small, real ones." The next morning, Amiya asked to see a place with no buildings. So they flew her to a wide desert. There was no city there, no machines, just sand, wind, and sky. They sat together on the warm ground. Amiya looked around. "This place is empty," she said. Ravi smiled. "Yes, but sometimes when life is too full, you need a little emptiness." She nodded slowly. "I understand." As they sat in silence, a group of birds flew above. Amiya followed their movement. With her head, Ravi asked, "Do you have birds on your planet?" She answered, "We had flying lights once, but they were machines. These are free." Over the next few days, Amiya saw more places. She visited a home where 5 generations lived under one roof. The grandmother gave her a hand-woven scarf. The child gave her a sunflower seed. She saw street artists painting walls. She saw people playing music in parks. She watched the teenagers repair an old robot, just for fun. Everywhere she went, people treated her with kindness even though they could not see her face. One day, they passed by a hospital. Amiya stopped outside the glass. Inside, a man sat beside a woman in a bed. He held her hand, reading to her softly. The woman did not move. Machines beeped beside her. "Why does he stay?" Amiya asked. "Because he loves her," Mira said. Amia looked down for a moment. Even when she cannot speak back, Ravi nodded. "That's when love matters the most." That evening, as they walked back toward her ship, Amiya said, "Your world is not perfect." "I have seen sadness, pain, hunger." Ravi agreed. "Yes, we still have many problems, but," she continued, "I have also seen patience, and care, and hope." Mira smiled. "That is our true face. Not perfect, but trying." Amiya looked at the sky. "You are still learning, but you have not given up. That matters." Then she turned to Ravi. "Your people feel deeply. You love your world, your families, your friends. It is not weakness. It is strength." Ravi felt something warm in his chest. Her words were soft, but they touched something deep inside him. She took a step closer to him. "I asked for your truth. I think I have started to see it. The The stars began to appear again. Wind moved through the grass. Ravi looked at her helmet. Do you think you will ever remove it? Amia was silent for a long time. Then she said, maybe. When I am ready, and when you are ready to see me not as a queen, not as an alien but as myself. Ravi nodded. I think we're getting there. Amia looked at the horizon. Your world is loud, busy, and bright. But in your quiet moments, it shines. The next day, a ceremony was held near her ship. Not to sign a treaty, not for politics, just a simple moment to say thank you. People brought small gifts, drawings, seeds, music recordings. One farmer brought a jar of honey. One student gave her a hand-built music box. She accepted them all. She didn't say much, but everyone felt something special. That night, Amia stood alone on a hilltop. She looked at the moon. Her hand slowly moved to her helmet. Then stopped. Not yet, but soon. Days passed quietly in the valley where Queen Amia's ship rested. The silver craft gleamed softly in the sunlight, and the wind moved gently through the tall grass. Amia remained calm and silent, her face always hidden behind the glowing helmet. Ravi felt the air around her had changed. There was no longer the cold distance from before. Now, it felt warm, like the calm before a gentle rain. One afternoon, Ravi invited Amia to a small garden near the valley. It was a place where bright flowers bloomed and the scent of jasmine filled the air. Butterflies danced in the sunlight. It was a place full of life and peace. Mira stayed behind on the ship, trusting Ravi to speak with the queen. They sat side by side on a smooth stone bench. The silence between them was soft, like the whisper of the wind. Ravi finally spoke. Amia, I want to tell you a story. She turned her head slowly, as if listening closely. When I was a boy, my family had little money, but my mother always found a way to help others. Once, a neighbor had no food. My mother gave them what little we had. I didn't understand then, but now I see it is love that makes us strong. Amia nodded. Your heart is full. Ravi smiled softly. Sometimes it is full of hope, sometimes of fear, but always it beats for others. She was quiet. Then, after a moment, she reached up and touched the glowing edge of her helmet. Ravi's breath caught. He did not move her slowly. The helmet began to open. First, a soft click, then a gentle slide, like a door opening on quiet hinges. The light inside dimmed, and there she was. Her face was soft and beautiful, but different from anything Ravi had seen. Her skin was pale silver, glowing faintly like moonlight. Her eyes were large and bright, shining like stars in the dark. Her hair flowed like liquid silver, falling gently to her shoulders. But more than her appearance, it was the feeling she gave, a calm, gentle strength that warmed Ravi's heart. For a long moment, they simply looked at each other. No words were spoken. The wind held its breath. The flowers seemed to lean closer. Ravi finally found his voice. You are more beautiful than I ever imagined. Amia smiled, a slow, soft smile that reached her eyes. I am not just a queen, she said. I am also a being who longs to be known. Ravi reached out gently, and she took his hand in hers. Her skin was cool but comforting. I have hidden behind this helmet for a long time, Amia continued. Not just from others, but from myself. To protect my people, I needed to be strong and distant. But now, she said softly, I want to be seen. Not as a ruler or a mystery, but as someone who can feel. Ravi squeezed her hand. I see you, and I want to know everything you are. They sat together, hand in hand, watching the sun sink low in the sky. The stars began to twinkle, and a soft night breeze whispered through the garden. Later, Mira returned. She saw them sitting quietly and smiled. I knew the moment would come. She said. Amia looked at Mira and said, I feel ready to share more with your world. The next days were filled with wonder. Amia walked without her helmet among the humans. Children stared, not with fear, but with amazement. People saw her gentle smile and kind eyes. They learned that beneath her armor was not a stranger, but a friend. Ravi and Amia grew closer each day. They spoke of their worlds, their dreams, their hopes. He showed her Earth's blue oceans, tall trees, and open skies. She told stories of the Velari stars, ancient songs, and quiet moments beneath her own moons. One evening, as they watched a river sparkle under the moonlight, Amiya said, "Your world is beautiful. It sings in ways I never knew." Ravi nodded. "And your world sings too, in its own quiet way." Together, they began to build a bridge not just between their people, but between two hearts. After Queen Amiya removed her helmet and revealed her true face, many humans were filled with hope. They saw her not just as a powerful alien leader, but as someone who wanted peace and friendship. But not all Velari felt the same. Far from Earth, in the Velari homeworld, other leaders watched Amiya's choice with worry. The Velari were proud and strong, but they feared humans were too fragile. They believed emotions made people weak. One day, a message came from Velari High Council. They sent two envoys to Earth, tall and armored like Amiya once was. Their names were Zerun and Vela. They did not smile. They did not trust. At a meeting near Amiya's ship, Zerun spoke first. His voice was cold and firm. "You have taken a risk, Amiya. These humans may seem kind, but their hearts are soft. They can be dangerous without knowing it." Vela nodded. "We must test them. Prove if they are worthy of Velari trust." Mira stood calmly. "We understand your caution, but humans value peace. We want to build trust, not destroy it." Zerun looked around the room. "Words are easy, actions show truth." Amiya stepped forward. "Then we will act together. We will show them." Ravi felt the weight of this moment. It was more than politics. It was about hope for two worlds. A sudden crisis gave them a chance. The sun of the Andara system began to flare. Massive solar storms sent waves of energy into space. These storms could harm both Earth's satellites and the Velari ships. The Velari ships needed human technology to protect themselves. Earth's satellites could shield against solar flares with a special energy net. But this required close cooperation. Ravi, Amiya, Mira, Zerun, and Vel worked together day and night. Ravi piloted the Aurora, guiding ships through the dangerous solar winds. Amiya coordinated the Velari fleet, giving orders with calm confidence. Mira negotiated the plans between the Velari and humans. Zerun and Vel watched closely, skeptical but silent. At one point, a solar flare hit unexpectedly. A Velari ship lost power and drifted toward a dangerous asteroid field. Ravi acted quickly. He flew the Aurora near the disabled ship. With skill and calm, he helped the Velari crew repair their systems. Amiya sent a message to Velari ships: "Trust the humans. They save our people." Zerun frowned but said nothing. Days passed. Together, humans and Velari created a network of energy shields. When the solar storms finally struck, the shields held strong. No ships were lost. No satellites damaged. It was a success. After the crisis, Zerun called a private meeting. He looked at Amiya and said, "You were right. Humans are strong in ways I did not understand." Vela added, "They protect not only themselves, but also us. Their love for their world gives them power." Amiya smiled softly. "Love is not weakness. It is strength born from connection." Ravi stepped forward. "We want to be friends, not enemies." Zerun nodded slowly. "Then we must learn from each other." That evening, a celebration was held near the alien ship. People from Earth and Velari gathered. Music played, and food was shared. Amiya stood beside Ravi. They looked at the crowd, full of hope. Mira whispered, "You changed many hearts today." Amiya looked at Ravi and said, "And you changed mine." Ravi felt warmth inside. It was more than friendship. It was a promise. As the stars twinkled above, Ravi thought about the future. For the first time, two worlds were not strangers. They were partners. And in the center of it all was a queen who dared to remove her helmet and the pilot who dared to see her heart. The valley was calm again. The solar storms had passed, and both the Earth and Velari ships were safe. After many weeks of working together, something new had grown between the two worlds. Trust. Now, it was time to celebrate that trust with a special event, the peace ceremony. It was not a political meeting. It was not about power. it was about. Two different worlds coming together to say, we choose peace. The ceremony was held in the same valley where Queen Amiya had first landed. Simple wooden seats were made by hand. Colorful cloths from different human cultures were placed on. Long tables, flowers, lanterns, and glowing stones from the Velari world lit the path. Everyone helped humans and Velari side by side. Some cooked, some played music, some simply smiled and welcomed guests. Ravi stood at the edge of the valley, watching the preparations. The sun was low. Turning the sky's soft orange dot, Mira walked over to him. "Are you ready?" she asked with a smile. Ravi nodded. "I've never been ready for something like this, but it feels right." A small group of Velari leaders, including Zarun and Vela, arrived. They wore their armor, but left their helmets open. It was a sign of respect and trust. Then Queen Amiya appeared. She wore a new robe, made from human silk and Velari fabric woven together. Her silver hair glowed gently under the evening light. Her helmet was gone. People stood quietly as she walked through the valley, not because they were afraid, but because they were in awe. The ceremony began with music half played on Earth's instruments, half from Velari soundstones. The two styles blended beautifully, as if they were always meant to be one. Mira gave the welcome speech. "We are different, our skin, our voices, our homes, they are not the same, but our hearts can choose the same path, and today, we walk that path together." Amiya stepped forward next. She looked at the gathered people and spoke in a soft, clear voice. "We once feared emotion. We thought it was weakness. But here, we have seen that love, hope, and kindness are the strongest forces of all. Humans are not perfect, but they are learning, and so are we." Everyone clapped softly, feeling the warmth in her words. Then came the gift exchange. Amei held a glowing cube. "This," she said, "is a star map of the Velari skies. These are the places we consider sacred. By giving this to Earth, we are showing that we no longer hide from you. We invite you to know us fully." Ravi stepped forward with a small wooden box. Inside was a single white flower, grown from Earth's first moon garden. This flower was grown in silence, without soil, far from Earth. "But it bloomed," Ravi said, "like our friendship." Amiya took the flower gently. "Thank you," she said. "This is life from your moon, a sign that beauty can grow anywhere." After the speeches and gifts, the night continued with laughter, music, and food. Children from Earth taught Velari guests how to play simple games. Velari shared light drawings in the air, using glowing crystals that painted pictures above the crowd. At one table, a human artist painted a picture of the valley. A Velari added small glowing dots to the sky in the painting, showing their home. Stars. Amei walked through the crowd slowly. Wherever she went, people smiled. Then, as the stars began to fill the night sky, she returned to Ravi. They stood a little away from the others, near a small hill where the wind moved through tall grass. "The night is special," Amiya said. "Yes," Ravi replied. "It feels like the beginning of something new." Amiya looked at him. Her glowing eyes were soft. "You showed me your world. You didn't hide its pain, but you also showed its hope. That is what changed me." Ravi smiled. "You showed me how to look deeper, how to listen, how to see." They stood quietly, hand in hand, watching the stars. Then, Amiya said, "Our two worlds are far apart, but tonight, we are close." Ravi looked at her, feeling his heart full. "Do you think this will last?" She nodded. "If we choose peace every day." Not just today, yes. The peace ceremony ended. With a quiet moment, everyone looked up at the sky. A gentle light rose from the Velari ship like a star being born. It floated into the sky and burst softly, filling the night with silver sparks. It was a message without words. We are one under the stars. Weeks had passed since the peace ceremony. The valley had returned to its quiet life, but something had changed, not just in the sky or in the speeches, but in the hearts of people. For the first time in history, humans and aliens were no longer strangers. They were friends, they were partners, and for Ravi, it was something even more. He sat near the riverbank one early morning, watching the sun rise slowly over the hills. The golden light touched the trees, the grass, the water, and then gently lit up the silver figure walking toward him. It was Queen Amia. She wore simple clothes today, not her royal robe or armor. Her silver hair moved in the soft wind, and her glowing eyes reflected the morning light. Ravi smiled. You always know where to find me. Amia sat beside him. I follow the sound of your thoughts, she said kindly. They both laughed. A soft, peaceful laugh that came from comfort, not surprise. Ravi looked at her. You're not just a queen anymore. She tilted her head. Then what am I? He thought for a moment. You are someone who has become part of this world. Amia nodded. And you are someone who opened my heart. They sat silently for a while, just listening to the birds and the wind. Ravi looked at her hands, the way they gently touched a nearby flower. She was calm, full of grace, and completely real. Later that day, news came from the Earth Council. A group of scientists and explorers had been invited to visit the Velari homeworld. It would be the first human mission beyond known space to a world so far, so mysterious, yet now so close. Mira called Ravi aside. You've been invited, she said with a smile. Ravi was surprised. Me? You helped build this piece, Mira said. They want you to be part of the future. Ravi looked toward the hills where Mia was walking among children, showing them a Velari light crystal that made small stars. In the air, he knew what his answer would be. The journey to the Velari world took only a few days using advanced jump technology. The ship that carried Ravi and the small team was part human, part Velari, a symbol of unity. When they arrived, Ravi stood in silence. The Velari world was breathtaking. Tall crystal towers reached into purple skies. Trees with silver leaves whispered in the wind. The lakes glowed gently at night. Creatures moved slowly across the soft hills, peaceful and curious. Ravi turned to Amia. Your world is like a dream, she smiled. And now you are part of it. Over the next few weeks, humans and Velari learned together. They studied each other's history, culture, science, and nature. Artists painted together. Teachers shared lessons. Farmers from Earth helped Velari gardeners grow new types of plants. Everywhere Ravi went, Velari people greeted him with respect. Not because he was famous, but because he had treated their queen with honesty. One evening, Amia took Ravi to a quiet spot by a glowing waterfall. The sky above them was full of moons. I have something to show you, she said. She touched a crystal on her wrist, and a soft light formed in the air, a story in images. It showed her past, her lonely days as a young queen, her worries, her longing to understand others. Then, slowly, the story changed to her first meeting with humans, her journey to Earth. And the day she removed her helmet. At the end, the image was of Ravi standing beside her. Hand in hand, Amia looked at him. You helped me write this part of my life. Ravi reached for her hand. And I want to write more. 1 year later, the bridge between Earth and Velari was strong. Students traveled between planets. Scientists shared their work. Children from both worlds played together in learning centers built in space. But what surprised everyone most was a small announcement from the Earth Velari Unity Council. Queen Amia and Captain Ravi would serve as ambassadors of peace together. People cheered across both worlds. The queen who had once hidden her face, and the human who had once guided her quietly through gardens and lakes were now standing side by side before the stars. In time, their story became more than history. It became a tale shared in classrooms, in homes, in starships. A tale not about war or fear, but about kindness, understanding, and quiet courage. Some called it the story of the queen and the pilot. Others simply called it the beginning. But for Ravi, the most important part was this: when the alien queen removed her helmet, she didn't just show her face, she opened a door to something deeper. And behind that door, he found love, not just love for her, but for the idea that peace is possible, even across galaxies, even between strangers, even beyond worlds.